Okay, so I will start unit 7. In this unit, we are going to discuss about economic aspects related to engineering design. Compared to other units, so we have only few topics in this unit. And exam point of view, you can consider preparing for unit 7. The reason is we have only few topics you can cover in less time. So objective is to apply the concepts of engineering economics in system design. Already you have studied a lot about economics in engineering economics course. Okay, so here also economic point of view is very important. Its role is going to play a vital role in engineering design also, since we are going to check or we are going to evaluate various design solutions considering economic and financial feasibility. Economic aspects plays a vital role. The design is of no use if it does not make money for the manufacturer or does not give enough benefits to its user to justify its cost. You can evaluate design by considering two point of view, by the point of view of the manufacturer and the point of view of the user. A manufacturer or owner of the company or management of a company is going to invest on on a design concept, okay, when it is having guarantee that it can earn profit by converting a design into reality, okay, then only any company or any investor is going to invest on a design concept of an engineer only when it will result in profit. That is the point of view of manufacturer. If a design concept doesn't result in profit, no one will invest. No one want to be in loss. Okay, every investor, every manufacturer or every company wants to be in profit. That's why it is a very important point of view. A design should be economically feasible. That means by converting a design concept into product, a company must be able to earn profit or make profit. That is one point of view. Another point of view is the point of view of user. Okay, that is the consumer of a product. Why he will invest money? Okay, if there is no utility or usefulness, why people will buy products? Okay, so for the investment that they are going to make for a product, okay, they also want some usefulness. Okay, you will buy car to drive it for thousands of kilometers. Okay, so that is the usefulness of the car and the comfort of riding a car and the capacity, the mileage. Like that, you are going to evaluate usefulness of any product. Okay, if the product is useful, then only you are ready to pay for it, or you are ready to invest some money on a product if it is having some usefulness. Okay, that is the point of view of the user. Money is the easiest of the common denominator that may be used for evaluating a design. That means if a design concept require more money, okay, the probability of accepting the design concept will be less. The reason is risk factor is also more. If it wants more investment, then risk will be automatically, it will be more. Okay, so it will be evaluated based on profit for the manufacturer and usefulness for the user or consumer of the product. A socially conscious investor may not invest in a profit making project which is harmful to society, but surely is not going to invest in a project where there is high probability of losing the money. Okay, these are the considerations. You may think, okay, so there are some investors who are ready to invest money, okay, by considering good of the society. Okay, so if some products, okay, if they are able to do good for the society, investors may be ready to invest. Okay, but even they may compromise with a profit margin, but no one is ready to make any product to be in loss. Okay, this is the fact. You cannot find any company in the world, okay, which is providing any service or any product just to be in loss. Okay, no one want that. Some may compromise with the profit margin. Okay, so but no one want to be in loss. Even if a company is in loss, it cannot be run for longer duration. It cannot last for longer time. Okay, that is the problem. So at least there must be a situation such that there will be no loss, no gain. That is the minimum requirement. If you want to run a company, at least it should be such that there will be no loss, no gain. That means company is not in loss, also not in profit. Some will try to balance things like this. Okay, or else some may compromise with the profit margin, but no one is ready to be in loss. Okay, so designer has to look into that. ಈ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Okay, so no investor will invest on your idea or on your design concept. Okay, if they are not ready to make profit. Okay, so profit is the major driving force of any industry. So, and even that's why it is called as capitalist system. Okay, in capitalist system, profit and competition play a vital role. Okay, so everything will depend on profit and competition. Okay, so even after 1992, after liberalizing the market, okay, so we evaluate or we make choices based on profit. Even you will choose a particular course to study. Most of the times it is not based on your interest. It will be based on, okay, after your graduation, how much you are going to earn. Okay, always you don't think about what you are going to learn, whether it is possible to gain some knowledge. You don't think most of the times. Okay, as a society, we don't think in that way. We don't think about gaining knowledge, okay, enhancing our understanding of the life or understanding of the society. Instead, what we think is, if I study, if I put effort, okay, what is the profit? So am I able to get marks? Okay, so am I able to earn more money? Okay, do I get a better job where the salary package is good? So these are the considerations. Again, this consideration is based on the impact of liberalization of the economy. Okay, that will have impact on all of us. So before, if you look at how people were thinking before liberalization, that means before 1990s, most of the times, okay, so people are not money profit oriented. So they are going to consider the society also. Okay, if people were thinking only about profit, why many Indians lost their life for freedom of this country? Okay, now if the same situation arises, okay, if some country take over India now, it is difficult to fight for the freedom. The reason is every individual so look at profit. You don't think about the society. Okay, so this is because of the capitalism, the mindset put by the capitalism. So it will always profit oriented. Okay, and it will be based on competition. As a designer of any product, okay, you must be practical. Otherwise, no one will be ready to invest on your idea. Okay, so these are the considerations. So societies as a whole do investment through public finances in projects which in the narrow economic sense may be losers, but have sufficient non-economic benefits to compensate for the money lost. Okay, so we have seen in most of the social discussions, okay, people always criticize ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೋಮಾರಿಗಳಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಏನೋ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. So like that, we have seen many people criticizing some of the schemes of the government. Okay, ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು? So in the economic point of view also, this is the narrow approach. Okay, there are two types of benefits. And again, ಈ ತರ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನು ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು, it is a capitalistic approach. Again, it is a profit oriented approach. There are indirect benefits by investing on projects like this, okay, project like midday meals, projects like providing free education, providing scholarships for students, okay, so providing even cash transfers for people, okay, these have indirect benefits. And who can do this? Any private company don't do this. Only government will do this kind of things. That means it will invest the public money, public finance on these projects where if you look in simple terms, government will be in loss. Okay, if government provide midday meals, okay, it is not going to make any money. If government provides scholarships to students, it will not going to get any direct profit out of it. If government provide education at free of cost, okay, again it will be in loss. But then also government is going to spend on education, on health, okay, on midday meals, and even on railways, or even on public transport, or even on infrastructure development projects. Why government is going to do this? So by investing on education, government will not get any profit. Then also why government will do or will make an investment? What kind of benefits it can get? Okay, if government invest on education, what is the benefit that government can get? ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಲಾಭ ಇದೆ? ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಶಿಪ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್? ಪವನ್ ಯಾದವ್. Okay, so the benefit is, so even for companies want skilled labor or skilled human resource. Okay, how government can create an environment where the quality of human resource is good. That means people have enough skills to do variety of jobs. When this can happen only with proper education. That's why government is investing on creating skilled laborers, on creating quality human resource. Okay, and indirectly this will result in development of a country. This will result in economic growth. This will result in more investment because of availability of quality human resource. Okay, like that there are many benefits. Even if you consider midday meals, okay, so India is a poor country where we have a problem of malnutrition. Okay, many children will die because of malnutrition. In order to address this issue, government is having midday meals. Okay, if it doesn't provide midday meals, many children will die because of malnutrition. This is the fact. Okay, during this, after this corona and during this lockdown, okay, many schools have been shut down, many government schools, even midday meals is not been provided. The problem is because of this, many children, okay, are living without any food. They are having food once or twice a day instead of 3 times. Okay, so these are the consequences. Any private company don't do this type of things. Only government can do. Okay, so this is the next point. Societies as a whole do invest through public finances in projects which in the narrow economic sense may be losses, but have sufficient non-economic benefits, as we discussed. Okay, midday meals will result in addressing the problem of malnutrition, and providing free education will result in having better skilled human resource. Okay, indirectly that will attract investors to start companies in India. So like that, they will have indirect benefits. Okay, but if you think in only narrow economic sense, they will look like okay, so bitti bhagya ange ange anta helodu, that is a narrow economic sense. Okay, in broader way, or in long term, they will have some positive impact on the society in one or the other way. Next, if the private individual does the same, that means if someone is doing a work not to make profit, then that is not considered as investment, that is considered as charity. Okay, that is the difference. If some private person is doing the same thing, doing the service, so we don't consider that as investment, we consider that as a charity. Okay. It is therefore essential that the designer keeps in his mind the economic aspects of the design and carries out an economic analysis to ensure that the project is sufficiently attractive. A project is attractive or a design concept is attractive for an investor when there is room for profit. Okay, when investor is having confidence that he can make profit out of a design concept, then the design concept look attractive for him. That is the meaning. The first task in an economic analysis is to estimate the cost of the project. Okay, so if you have an idea to start your own company, or if you have an idea but if you don't have enough resources, enough money, then you have to convince someone else who is having money. Okay, then you will ask, okay, ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್? Okay, like that is going to ask. So then you should have an estimation. Okay, in order to start this company in small scale, we need 50 crores. Like that you should have an estimation. And if we invest 50 crores, okay, when we can get the investment back, when the company will be in profit. Okay, these are the calculations even designer has to make, okay, in order to convince an investor. The designer strives to maximize profit either by reducing the costs or by making the product attractive so that the market sales price goes up. Okay, there are two strategies. Okay, so we have two models. One is a Japanese model, another will be the Chinese model. Okay, what is the difference between products from China and what is the difference between products from Japan? Okay, Chinese products are known for which advantages? Okay, why China is able to rule the global market? So they are dominating the global market in manufacturing sector. How they are able to do this? Okay, what is the major feature or major attraction of Chinese products?
Low cost.
Low cost. Okay, what is the major feature of Japanese products? Okay, quality. So Chinese products are known for least cost. They are able to produce a lot of products which are very cheap. Okay, low cost. Whereas Japanese products, they cost very high. Then also there is market for even for Japanese products. The reason is quality. Okay, so these two things can attract customers. Again, as a designer, you have to make choice whether you will compromise on quality or you will concentrate on cost. Okay, most of the times you have to make a balance between cost and quality. Okay, if you want to give a very good quality product, the cost of making that product may be high. Okay, then we must be able to convince customers. Okay, so these are the better features in this product compared to others in the market. Okay, so like that you can even if the cost of your product is high. Okay, so if your design concept, okay, have some features which are attractive, so then people are ready to invest. Okay, you can consider even people will buy Apple phones by investing 60,000, 80,000, 1 lakh. The reason is, so they are attracted towards the features in those Apple phones. Okay, so again, so even though we can get mobile phones even for 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. At the same time, we have mobile phones which cost in terms of lakhs. So there is market for both types of products. Okay, again it depends on the customers, and as a designer you should identify, okay, for whom you are making a particular product. So are you concentrating on reducing cost? Are you concentrating on enhancing the quality of the product? Okay, so that is the next consideration. So designer strives to maximize profit either by reducing the costs or by making the product attractive. That means you can make a product attractive by having additional features compared to competitors, okay, and having better quality. Most of the products, okay, in India, if you look at most of the consumer products, there is a MRP, okay. What do I mean by, or what is the full form of MRP? MRP is a very familiar term. MRP and Reno?
Market retail price.
Market retail price, okay, or maximum retail price. ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ಎಮ್ ಆರ್ ಪಿ ಕೆಲವುದಕ್ಕಿದೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಮ್ ಆರ್ ಪಿ ಇಲ್ದಲೇ ನಾವು ಸುಮಾರು ಇದನ್ನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸುಮಾರು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ. ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಮ್ ಆರ್ ಪಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್, ಓಕೆ, ಸಂತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಲ್ವಾ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ತರಕಾರಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಮ್ ಆರ್ ಪಿ ಇರುತ್ತಾ? ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ಎ even most of the meat shops, even chicken shop or mutton stall, okay, so no MRP. That means in the market, so you can find MRP for most of the consumer products, but at the same time we have many products or many things which we buy without MRP, okay. And in some of the European countries there is no such concept like MRP. Okay, in India we are familiar with the term MRP and we are used to it, but in some of the European countries there is no concept of MRP. Then how they are fixing the prices for these products? Okay, there are advantages with MRP and at the same time there are disadvantages. Okay, and there is an interesting conversation related to this MRP. Okay, and in this conversation IIM Bangalore professor, okay, has explained about the merits and demerits of MRP, and it is a very interesting conversation. Okay, later I will share the link of this podcast. Okay, that means this is an audio, this is a conversation. I will share the link. Okay, you can listen to this conversation and you can understand the consequences of MRP. Okay, and without the MRP also, how the system will work and how products or costs of any product will be fixed. Okay, so that will be explained in detail. I will share this link later. Okay, next, fixed and variable costs. Okay, since already we discussed, any company is going to produce products to make profit. Okay, profit ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಖರ್ಚು ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Okay, what is the cost of the product? So to that cost you are going to add profit and you will fix the MRP or selling price. Okay, so first thing is you have to make an estimate of the cost. If you are producing any product, okay, what is the cost? Then to that cost you have to add profit, then you have to fix the selling price. Okay, so here when we are discussing about cost, we will consider two types of costs, fixed and variable cost. Okay, what is the difference between fixed and variable cost? What is the difference? ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತೀರಾ, ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? Okay, here we consider production volume. Okay, if a cost vary based on production volume, that is considered as variable cost. If a cost doesn't vary with production volume, that is considered as fixed cost. Okay, so ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಲಿ 1000 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದೇ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗು, 1000 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು other building. So that means the cost, the amount invested on constructing a building remains same. Even if the facility is underutilized also, the investment on the building remains same. Okay. And similarly, if you have a machine, so whether if you run it for 24 hours or 8 hours, the initial investment on the machine will remain same. If you have a CNC machine, okay, if you operate it for 24 hours, you may be able to make 100 units of a product. Okay, if you operate it for only for one shift, that is 8 hours, you may be able to make 30 to 35 units of a product. But initial cost of the CNC will remain same. Okay, so these type of costs which are not directly linked to production volume are called as fixed costs. Whereas raw material, again the cost of raw material will depends on how much you are producing. So ನೀವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ raw material consumption also will proportionally it will decline, it will decrease. So that means cost of raw material is directly related to production volume. So ನಿಮಗೆ 100 units ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ particular raw material, okay, for suppose for 100 units, if you want 25 kg material, okay, then obviously for 1000 units you need 250 kg of a material. So there is a direct link between raw material and production volume. Okay, similarly direct labor means a worker who is directly involving in converting a raw material into finished product, okay, is cost. That means direct labor cost, in a similar way it is directly related to production volume. Okay, so like that, if you look at various cost segments, some costs are directly related to production volume and some are not directly related to production volume. Indirectly they are related, but they are not directly relevant. Okay, or the extent to which so the cost and a particular cost component are related. Okay, it is not closely related. Okay, so direct relate agiradana we consider them as variable costs. So if some costs, so our indirect relate agirutte, but to the least extent. Okay, so they are called as fixed costs. Okay, so if you consider cost of a product other than fixed and variable costs, okay, we will divide or we will consider various components like this: development costs, overhead costs, production costs, and marketing costs. Development cost means, so these are the costs before introducing a product into market. Before manufacturing a product, you have to make a lot of preparation. Okay, if you want to start a company which is producing a product, okay, then you have to do market survey, you have to do research, you have to prepare a prototype, then you should have a office, okay, then you have to pay salary for a designer. Okay, these are before producing any product. Okay, so these are at the stage of development. Okay, these costs are called as development costs before manufacturing a product. Okay, next, overhead costs, labor welfare. That means some benefits should be given to, or some facilities should be provided to labor, like PF and other benefits. Okay, accounts office, taxes, utilities, interest on loan, insurance, supervision, special tools, machinery. Okay, these are also preparation stage. Okay, that means you should have these facilities to produce a product. Okay, so again these two are before starting manufacturing. Okay, then production cost, it is directly related to the production process, that is direct labor, components bought. That means if it is a product, it may be having hundreds of components. Okay, out of 100 you may be getting 30 components from other suppliers. Okay, those are called as bought components. Okay, so bought from other suppliers. Then raw materials. Okay, these production costs, these three are directly related to production volume. Okay, so these costs are considered as variable costs. Okay, so production costs are considered as variable costs. Next, marketing costs, agents commission, advertising, distribution, transportation, tied up capital, packaging. Okay, if you consider agents commission, okay, whether agents commission is a variable cost or whether it is a fixed cost. Agents commission ಯಾವ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? Okay, agent is going to get commission for the number of products he has sold. That means there's a direct link between agent's commission and volume of the product. Okay, so quantity of the product ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇದೆ. That means it is a variable cost. Okay, like that there are few variable costs and there are few fixed costs. Okay, so tied up capital means you have a this is in the stage of converting a raw material into a finished product. Okay, or at times even a finished product may result in tied up capital in times of lockdown. Okay, where companies have manufactured thousands of cars. Because of lockdown they were not able to sell these cars. That will be considered as a tied up capital. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಂದಾಗ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾನಿಟೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಮನಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಟೈಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. Next, the costs which depend directly on the volume of production are considered as variable costs. The costs which don't depend directly on the volume of production are considered as fixed costs. Example, if we make 500 numbers of a product instead of 1000, some cost such as direct labor cost, material cost, dealers commission, etc. would be nearly all. That means half of this. Some other costs could not be affected, at least not to the same extent. Product development cost largely independent of the volume of production. This is another example for fixed cost. Similarly, the space rental costs, machinery costs, etc. are independent of the quantity of production. That means these are fixed costs. Okay, so this is about costs. I'll continue in next class. So in next class, we are going to discuss about break-even analysis and optimization. Okay, that will complete unit 7. Okay, so I will engage next class on Thursday. If you have any questions, you can ask.